Thank you very much. My name is Xavier Laredo. I am the Head of Sector of Technology Monitoring and Foresight at the European Data Protection Supervisor. I'm here to talk to you about one initiative and one tool that we are providing to European Union's institution, bodies, offices and agencies. So the initiative is called the Website Compliance Awareness Campaign, and the tool is the Website Evidence Collector Online. During our activities, because the EDPS is the supervisory authority for data protection for EU institutions, bodies, offices and agencies, we noticed that oftentimes EU institutions were not aware about what was going on in their website. So instead of going on the direction of doing investigations and audits, we decided, okay, why don't we first make aware institutions about what is going on their website? So we decided to run this awareness campaign. And we call it an awareness campaign because what we are doing is providing facts, not legal analysis to the EU institutions. So this campaign, we just finished the pilot phase of it, is that consists in running one tool that we developed in 2018, the Website Evidence Collector. You can find it because it's open source in code.europa.eu. We run that tool periodically, so 3 times every 6 months, on one website per EU institution. Why a pilot phase? Because we wanted to see how this worked, and we wanted the institutions to get used to the format, to the reports. Okay? The idea is that we run this tool on one website per EU institution, and we provide them with the report, which is full of facts, but no legal assessment. So you will not find in the WAC reports, this is an infringement, or this is breaching, I don't know which provision. Then after 6 months, we'll run again on the same website, the same tool, and again and again. And we will monitor the changes and the progress. We did a bunch of actions. So before starting this, we notified to the EU institutions data protection officers. We talked to them about the period of the different waves of scans. We fine-tuned a little bit the process even before starting that. And then we started with the first wave in autumn 2024, like in October. In October, we did the first scan, and then in the December meeting, because we have every 6 months a meeting in between the EDPS and the data protection officers of the EU institutions. So after doing the scan, we sent them the report, and then we met and we presented aggregated figures so they knew what we were finding. Then we did the same in spring 2025, so April and July, and then the same last time, October 2025 and December 2025. So first thing first, this is a fully automated process, okay? The Website Evidence Collector does not interact with the website. It only loads URLs, it loads web pages. So this is not agentic AI, it's far from it. It doesn't click on things, it doesn't hover on things, it doesn't select the stuff. So anything that the reports would show would show regardless of not having any user consent, okay? Which kind of data the Website Compliance Awareness Campaign reports provide? These are the categories. So security of communications, first and third party host, because we found out that oftentimes the EU institutions were not really aware of what they were embedding. And also because, sometimes you embed a component in your website, but this component is dynamic and loads some other things during the execution time, and therefore they were not aware of what was going on. First and third party potential web beacon hosts, the list of cookies, of course, the list of potential web beacons, I'll explain later why it's potential, list of local storage objects, and again, all of this with the do not track signal on. So you could see if there was a different of not when your website was receiving the DNT signal. And the security of the communications, we did a few things. One of them was to test if you had an encrypted connectivity, so HTTPS enabled. Then we check if you were enforcing. So if somebody would try to make an HTTP connection, if you would upgrade it to HTTPS. And then we would be identifying web forms, and we will look if the data in the web forms was being encrypted, okay? The list of first and third party hosts. The tool takes, let's say, a technical definition of what is first and third party. If you are scanning lemon.fr, that is first party. Everything else is third party, including subdomains. Okay, the tools that we use can allow you for identifying and signaling some other domains as third party, okay, but in the website compliance awareness campaign, we were not using this functionality. The list of cookies set. So the list of cookies, of course, includes the domain of the cookie and the name of the cookie, but also the expiration and something that we added from the tool, which was a novelty for this initiative, which is the category. The category in which the EDPS has classified the purpose of this cookie, okay? So this category could be any one of these four values. Technical, which meant more or less that you use that cookie for providing the service, analytics in the broad sense, advertising and social media, including profiling and all of that, and other non-identified. Okay, and we had the other non-identified because we decided that we were going to accept only the information that the online service providers were providing to us. So if you go to Google, or if you go to Oracle, or to any other online service provider that provides you a component that you are going to embed in your website, and they say, I use this cookie for this purpose, unless we know that they are lying, and because somebody has proved them wrong, we believe that declaration of purpose, and we classify the cookie as such. We have a small CSV file with all of this information, and we use that in order to provide this categorization, so it is easier for those who receive the report to know if something is wrong or not, okay? Take into account that cookies can be, and oftentimes are, used for more than one purpose. So what we do when there is more than one purpose, we always signal the most intrusive one, okay? So if something is being used for security, which would be technical, and analytics, then we set as category analytics. As I said before, there is no legal assessment. Potential web beacons. I guess most of you know what is a web beacon. It's a tiny image, normally transparent, that you can place in a web page. So when it is loaded, in the parameters part of the HTTP request, you can send information to a third party. We detect this by using two lists, fanboys annoyance and easy privacy. We say potential, why? Because every time that this list detect or signal a web beacon as such, we notice that they were not always right. So we say, okay, we prefer to have something, and we provide you with the list of the potential web beacons, and we split for you the different values and the parameters that the web beacon is sending, and you will decide if this is somehow harming the privacy or tracking your users, okay? Local storage objects, as you probably know, it's something that is used for similar purposes than cookies, okay? So you can store in the device information that is being used for many different purposes. The problem here is that for the cookies there is some information about the purpose, not so much, but there is some. But for the local storage objects, it is very, very rare. So we don't provide a classification of the purpose of the local storage objects, but we do provide a table with the host, the key, so the name of the local storage object, and the values that are stored, so the person receiving the report can judge by themselves. With the DNT, what we do is we run exactly the same web pages that we ran for the first time without the DNT, with the DNT, and then we add to the report the results of all these categories. Okay. One thing that I haven't told you is that we embedded a limitation into the website evidence compliance tool, which is that you can decide how many web pages you are going to scan on a website, but we set a limit of 150. So for big websites, that means that not all the website is going to be scanned at once, and the selection of URLs is done randomly from the landing page or the target page that you define, okay? So On top of this website compliance awareness campaign that we just finalized the payload phase, we are going to start now a second phase, because the aim was always to cover all the websites of the European Union institutions, bodies, offices, and agencies. But when we did our accounting or a list in 2018, I think it was, there were more than 1,300. So we wanted to make sure before that we could do it with a relatively small number of them, and that the institutions would get used to this. And now we are in the phase of updating that list and of making sure that some of the checks that we do with the reports afterwards that are manual, or before the reports are being produced that are manual, how we can automate that so we make sure that the whole process doesn't drive us crazy. Website Evidence Collector and Website Evidence Collector Online, or WEC and WEC Online. At the core, they are exactly the same. They are the tools that we use in order to do our auditing work on websites and our investigations. So these are the tools that the EDPS uses. They were both developed by us. They are both open source software, so you can have it in code.europa.eu. The problem is that the Website Evidence Collector requires a local installation, so you need to install it in your device, and it's a command line interface. And this is a problem for many people, because many of us cannot install it in our corporate devices whatever we want. So some people were using the Website Evidence Collector in their private devices, even if it was for a professional purpose. And many people, whenever they see a command line interface, they just freak out and say, like, no, I cannot do this. So we said, okay, let's make things easier for the colleagues. And we decided to build WEC Online, which is basically the WEC, but with an online web interface that makes things easier. Of course, the online interface doesn't have all the options that the Website Evidence Collector has, but it has the most common and the most, what we think to be the most used or the most useful. And of course, it's an online service, so it doesn't require any installation, so we can make it public. The WEC Online is also under European Union public license, so if you are interested into having this for your organization or for other organizations, you can also go to code.europa.eu and get WEC Online. Our requirements were, okay, we needed an easy authentication because we wanted this to be used by data protection officers, maybe by website administrators, sorry, or even by business site officers or staff that were interested. So we decided to use EU login as the authentication method, okay? This is accessible for anybody that is in the Secure Testa network and that has a EU login account ending in europa.eu, okay? So it's easily accessible. The access control part is that we decided that each user would only see their own scans. So if you want to share whatever you have found using the tool, using the service, sorry, you can export the WEC report. That is very similar to what I showed you before. It's just missing the categorization, but we plan to add that also this year, because we are improving the tool as much as we can, but we are a very small institution and a very small team. And as I said before, the idea was to give a very simple and useful interface. This is more or less what it looks like. In the left-hand side, you have the different scans that you did. In the right-hand side, whenever you click on a scan, you see the whole report. Up there are the controls. It has a system. It has a queue. So every time that a user requests a report, it is queued. Thank you. It is queued. There is some information about the waiting time. We can add more than one queue, but for the moment we are not so successful that we need to have more than one queue. Normally it's a scan of 150 pages of a website takes around 12 minutes or so. That is also configurable, because one of the things that you can change also in the WEC Online is the delay that you set in between the loading of one page and the next, which by default is 3 seconds, okay? How it works. The idea is that, okay, users authenticate to the service, they get to the screen that I showed you before, so then you say, okay, I want to I want to scan this website, you produce a URL. And what is going to do the tool is, okay, it's going to load the web page in that URL. This web page will be scanned for other URLs that are embedded in this original or initial scan page. We will create a list with them, and in the list of those, we will randomly select the maximum number of web pages that you are going to scan. By default is 0, so you will only scan the page that you provided, but you can set them up to 150. You have the possibility to say that you want the scan to include specific web pages, and those can exceed the 150. And you can have also you also have the possibility of telling the system that certain hosts are first party. So, for example, if you say lemonde.fr, it's the website that I'm scanning. www.lemonde.fr is also to be treated as the first party, and some other. You can add as many hosts as you might imagine. With all of that, we produced an inspection JSON file, and is this file the one that we are using in order to produce PDF and HTML reports that you can download, but you can also download the inspection JSON file and then play around with it. On the security and personal data protection side of the WEC Online, we host this. The European Commission hosts for us this tool, so we have all the security provided by the European Commission in their data center. This is only accessible from Secure Test Network, so even if you can access it from your corporate environment, if you go home and try to connect, you will not be able. The personal data is limited to the user data. We try to do as we preach. Reports are automatically deleted after 6 months, so if you want to keep them, you need to download them. And as we state in the terms of use, we are not using this for any kind of supervisor activity. We don't want people to be afraid of using the tool because the regulator is checking what I'm doing, and if I find stuff that it might not be okay, then the regulator knows. We don't care. We are only going to use the logs if there is a bug, if there is an issue, something is broken, then to fix it. And of course, because we do as we preach, we have a record of processing activity that describes all this processing. And we deployed this in July, beginning of July last year. And for the moment, we are quite happy because, this is quite a niche tool, but we had like below 300, 260 or 270 collections of data by different EU staff members on different websites. So more than 60 users. It's I know the figures are very small for what you might be used, but consider that the website evidence collector was developed by one person. The WEC Online has been developed by one person. So our development team and our maintenance team, which is the same person, is quite happy. And privacy is not something that is super popular anyhow. So thank you very much for hearing me. I hope that you enjoyed the talk.